Control freak? What's that? I mean, I'm not controlling. Hi, I'm Emily, and welcome to my channel. I just have to make sure everything goes exactly my way, or the world might, implode or something. No big deal. Okay, real talk. So if you're always trying to control everything, you might be a little bit of a control freak. I know I was, and I still am. I'm just more aware of it now. But I've learned some things, and today I want to dive in and share with you how to actually relax. Shocking, right? In today's video, I'll share how I've learned to deal with emotions and also the steps I've done to work on letting go. The roots of being a doer. So this comes from like your upbringing. So for me, my upbringing came from like obviously my parents and those who raised me, or I was around a lot. And so you learn from them because you don't know any better. So, and it's not their fault because sometimes they don't even know what's happening. So it's okay. Just remember it's okay, and you don't have to necessarily know why, but just observe that it did happen, and now you're able to move on from that. So due to my upbringing, it influenced me to always have the need to feel accomplished or important or busy, or all, because if I was busy, then I felt like I was getting something done, or it made me feel like I was actually like accomplished or achieving something. And so it's like also is also tied to the need to seek validation from someone or avoid criticism, because I was always worried about what I would say or do, in fear of being told I shouldn't be that way or shouldn't do that way, or get yelled at or something like that. Due to this upbringing, I had feelings of like judgment. I was always second guessing myself, couldn't choose, I couldn't decide, because I was always trying to either impress or seek validation, like, am I doing it right? Am I doing wrong? I never felt good enough. I also didn't trust a lot of people. I definitely didn't trust myself to make the right decision, because I was always afraid of getting it wrong, or I didn't feel like I was good enough. So how could I make the right choice? Many people, especially empaths, so that's me, I'm an empath. I tend to take on more than I can chew, because I feel like I can't rely on others, or I feel like it's not going to get done the way I want it to be done, because obviously no one's going to do it better than I do. And so it's just like it can get into a nasty cycle. And also we feel everything. So it's like we end up taking criticism to heart in some ways. But just know that empaths can also be at risk for, like wanting to control things. And that's why we end up attracting narcissists. The link between control and emotions. So we're going to dive into the emotional side of this. So it's like the constant doing is a way to avoid feeling deeper emotions like fear, loneliness, sadness, anger, rejection, perfectionism, and many more. But it's like when you're controlling everything, it's a defense mechanism for you to prevent those feelings from coming up. And it is so that your body keeps you in this state so you don't have to deal with whatever it is, whatever emotion's coming up. And it can cause a lot of issues internally, mentally, physically, when you don't deal with them. So the role of the ego is keeping you in this cycle or pattern to avoid pain and vulnerability, because the ego doesn't want to let this go. It doesn't want you to let it go. And so the ego will hold on as hard as you can, because it doesn't want you to feel those emotions. So being a doer is a way to push feelings aside. Therefore, it's not allowing your ego to let those feelings come up. Therefore, it will keep you stuck until you start dealing with it. The importance of sitting with your emotions. So this was a game changer for me, and it was not an easy task for me because it's something I had never done before. But it was learning to sit with my emotions and deal with them, and sit in silence or meditate or journal or have like mindfulness, or go take a walk in nature or walk on the beach, whatever, something where like I'm not like listening to something or letting my brain just go on overdrive or overthink everything. And so it's like I just learned how to sit with like the fear of doing things wrong, the fear of loneliness, the fear of rejection, or having like anger or sadness come up and not sometimes not even understanding why. And so it's just learning to accept them and then let them go. But I had to start learning that to tell myself that it's okay, or or internally say it's okay to feel anger in my body, or it's okay to feel loneliness in my body. It's okay to feel rejection or rejected, because it doesn't mean that it's something you did. It's something, sometimes it's what someone else is dealing with and they're rejecting you because they're upset that they don't like something about them. So just remember that it's not always about you, that it could be someone else's, what they're dealing with emotionally. And so it's just starting to learn like it's okay to feel upset in my body. It's okay to feel rejected. And so just, it's like being okay, saying those things, and being okay with crying or yelling or, in a space if you need to. But there are ways to release it, and you will feel so much better afterwards once you actually take the action to do those steps. And I'll get into those later. The healing power of accepting help. Now, this one was a difficult one for me because I always hated when people offered help, because I always felt like I was going to be a burden on them if I would accept their help, or I never felt good enough. So I was afraid to accept it because I didn't think I deserved the help or support from someone. So what turned my mind around for this, or my perspective around on this, was when I was at a leadership program and I had just had hip surgery. I was in a wheelchair because on crutches, I couldn't walk the distance that on the crutches, and I couldn't move as fast as everyone else. So, and I was just completely wiped out, and someone would offer to, besides my husband, to help me go to different places like the restroom or another area, and I would decline it. And so then I was in a leadership program. So in that leadership program, they had us get the impact of what it was like for the other person if I denied that help. And so when I finally asked her, like, what was the impact on you for me denying your help and your support? And she said it made her feel like unseen, unheard, because it was a gift that she wanted to give me, and I was rejecting that gift basically. And so it was, I never thought of it as when someone's offering your help, they're doing it because they want to help you. And it's not because, I don't feel like helping you, so I'm going to offer you anyways. It's actually they want to help. And so when I finally understood that it was a pure gift, support, trusting, like, I want to help you, I actually was like, okay, and I was able to receive it now that I understood the impact of her. I never had thought about it like that, but it was a huge change and perspective shift for me when I understood that when someone offers help or support, that I should be able to take it and receive it as a gift. So for me, as a controller, a doer, an empath, I understand that it's a challenge to trust others and often feel like we have to do it alone, but we don't. And so just know that you don't have to do things on your own. And when people offer, it's actually for, an amazing gift from them to you. It's super important to allow others to help and for you to learn how to start receiving from other people, because there's a healing that comes to that from letting go of the control and trusting other people. Saying I need help or I need support is a huge and powerful step towards breaking the cycle of being a doer and a controller. I know, because I know it takes something for me to actually ask for that. But it will heal if you continue to accept, receive, and allow that from somebody else. The consequences of staying in the doer mindset. So this is when you're not able to break this cycle of being controlling and being a doer, and you're just stuck in this mindset, it can lead to burnout, being completely fatigued, exhausted. You can have a lot of health issues. Like you can actually create like a sickness in your body, or like a lot of mental health issues, like, anxiety, panic attacks, anything like that. And then like it also can block your creativity and your productivity. And so it also can block your happiness, your positivity, because you're constantly in this mindset. But it can also be like trapped energy, and how it's like, and when you're constantly trying to control everything, you can create those both mental and physical blockages. I know for me, like I have a lot of physical or mental health issues back a while ago, until I started learning how to do this inner work. And I've had plenty of surgeries, and I know even stress can cause like my reaction with like both physical and mental health issues. So I've had to learn that I need to take this seriously, because for so long I was so burnt out, and I could never understand why. And it's just because like I never could get a break in my head, and I was constantly in panic or trying to control an outcome. And I still catch myself doing it, but I notice when I'm able to notice it and be aware of it, then I'm able to work on ways to get myself out of it. So the constant need of needing to do everything is a recipe for exhaustion and burnout. I know, because I used to go to so many events, and because I thought I was needing to go to them all, or have the fear of missing out, even like festivals and concerts, stuff like that, so much that I was so exhausted all the time that I was sleeping a lot. So then my physical and mental health were deteriorating, because I wasn't working out. Therefore, it was starting to affect my mental health. I wasn't doing like mindfulness practices or any other practices to help me, work through the mental stuff. And so I was just constantly exhausted. I was so full of fatigue. I had like all these digestive issues. And so it's like, just finally it was starting to catch up. And I think I finally started to realize that my self care was super important and very, and if I didn't work on that, like my body would completely fall apart, or it felt like it was going to completely fall apart, because I was constantly getting sick, and it wasn't like a quick sickness. It would be like 3 weeks, because I was doing stuff in between also, while I was sick. And so I never got to actually recover. And so now I'm starting to take a step back and be like, I'm trying to do less, but also work on myself more. And it's actually feels like I'm getting farther in my career, if that makes sense. Also, with the doer and controller mindset, for me, like perfectionism was a big one. So everything, I was constantly over criticizing myself, like 24/7, and or judging myself, and it was like so exhausting. And so it was also created a sense of burnout and fatigue, and just physically and mentally wasn't feeling good. Still like, because I was so stressed out, my cortisol levels were going up, and therefore my whole body just was a mess. And so now that I'm like learning to take care of that, or doing steps to not be such a perfectionist, or letting go of, let's say, like me doing videos and I don't think it's perfect, then I'm still letting it go anyways out to the public, no matter what. Because I'm like, I'm human. Other people are human. We all make mistakes, if that's what you want to call them. But I also learn from, experimenting with things. So it's like, if I hold on to like even my music and I never release it to the public, how do I expect my career ever to take off? So I'm just starting to learn more and more about myself, and that perfectionism or being overcritical or overthinking in my head doesn't get me anywhere. How to start letting go and healing. So one way would be to be self-aware. So this is like, you don't have to know why your pattern started of being a doer or a controller, but just observe when this behavior shows up, how it feels, and the impact it has on, your life or relationships. Like you can ask, like, what are the physical sensations that come up when you're feeling that, the doer, the panic, in the control state, that kind of thing. So just being aware is the first powerful step. Another way would be practicing mindfulness and present moment awareness. So just being, mindful of your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, like just be observant of them real time, and so that you can break the automatic reaction of wanting to control something or do something or fix something. And it's like staying in the present moment and observing your emotions, and like, because it's sometimes an automatic response or an impulse to want to control something. And so it's just being aware of it, honestly, is the first, is like, besides awareness, is just being mindful of that it's even occurring. Because then if you don't have that observing ability, then you're not able to see that you're even controlling something in the moment. So it's like when you're in the moment of like the urge of wanting to control something, just take a moment, pause, breathe, go take a walk really quick, or just notice the feeling without acting on it. I know that's not always easy, especially if, let's say, something angers us in the moment. But just create like this open space to not respond in a negative way. So try letting go in small ways. So this, your gradual exposure to allowing other people take over tasks that are like less important to you, or just start with the beginning stages of letting people do things either for you or do things, to work on a task or something where you're not doing it all yourself. And so it's like, it's practicing trusting someone else, trusting yourself, letting others take the lead and stepping back, so that you're not always, wanting to do all of it or controlling all of it. So it's just allowing other people to make, because then when you allow other people to do things, it's almost like you're becoming a leader, because you're able to give someone a task, and it may not be done the way you want it to, but as long as it's getting done, then that's what's important. Like, you have to ask yourself, is this something that I actually care how it's done or how perfect it's done? Just the fact that it is done, like allowing like your kids to do something or your husband to do something where you normally wouldn't, you would want to do yourself because you want it done a certain way. So all of those of us who are OCD out there, someone else might not do it the same way you do, but if they're getting it done, then why does that even matter? For example, for those of us who are in businesses and we, yes, we want everything done perfectly or the way that we want it to do it done. But if you are spending so much time on something and you're not able to move forward in the more important things in your business, then sometimes it's better to have someone else, either pay someone else to do it for you, or ask for support around it, or just a way to make it easier. But if you're sitting there spending like 8 hours on one task, then obviously that's just too much, and that's a complete waste of your time. And just be specific on maybe like your instructions of how you want it done. Don't just be like, hey, can you do this, and then it doesn't get done the way, and then you get mad at them. So you got to actually give them some instructions of how you want it done, and then let it go. So relaxation techniques is another one. So this is like when you have a lot of stress and anxiety because you're trying to control something, or you're overwhelmed, you're just getting this really bad cycle of like your whole body's just now like super tight, tense, your brain's overthinking, you're overwhelmed, you're like can't possibly like figure out what to do next. So it's like when you add relaxation techniques such as like deep breathing, so like long deep breaths in and out, and like do them multiple times, or if you need to go take a walk, go take a walk. So this could be exercise, meditation, even just gratitude, like journaling or meditation, where you can just be like, all right, what am I thankful for now in the moment? It could be yoga, dancing, something that actually relaxes you. Yeah, obviously meditation, I already said that. But it's like all of this can help calm your nervous system, because your nervous system is so heightened from all the stress and the controlling. And so it will, all of this, like on a consistent basis, if you start implementing some of these relaxation techniques even on a daily, then it will start calming your nervous system, and you'll start being able to let go of control on a regular basis or not be so reactive. Because if you're in a control state and you're trying to make a decision or say something or react to something or approach a situation, then if you're already in the control mode, then sometimes you end up reacting in a negative way. So if you do some of these relaxation techniques, then you're able to come to this situation with more calm and trust. Another one could be trust building practices. So taking steps to not only like begin to trust yourself, but also allow trust in others, and to see that, not everything needs to be micromanaged and things can work out without your intervention. So like, can you think of a time when things worked out when you were not in control? Most of the time there is a yes in that, and sometimes there's a no. But a lot of times that if you let go of control, it's interesting that things actually can fall into place and actually create a sense of peace in your life. And so I know for me, like trusting other people to do things that I want done a specific way, I know it can be a tough thing, but I know I can't do everything. I don't have the time to do everything. And so I know that I have to trust someone else to do it. And so I just need to let go of that control. And then if there's something specific that I want done, I need to communicate that to them. Otherwise, I can't assume or expect them to know what I want. So it's just being very clear with your communication and very specific for things that you actually want things done a certain way, especially if it's something in your like business, or it's the way you want things edited on like a video or your songs, or anything you can think of, like if you want things done in a certain way when it comes to cleaning, but not in like a controlling manner, but be like, hey, can you clean this like this? And just because, and say why you want it cleaned that way. It just depends on how you want to approach things, but it's like, it's being able to sit back and allow things to happen for you, so that you're not controlling everything or wanting things done so perfectly. Introducing affirmations for releasing control is another one, because the affirmations can reprogram your mind to release the control and trust the flow of life. And it can also promote like acceptance and surrender in the moment. And a few affirmations could be like, I trust that things are happening for my highest good. Or I release the need for control in my body and embrace the flow of life. It's safe to let go and trust others. And just being in the moment and doing this on a consistent basis will reprogram your mind, so that you'll have a less of a reaction, or you'll notice when you're in the control state. Another one would be focus only on what you can control, which is your response. So like, you may not be able to control everything around you, but you can always choose how you want to respond in a situation. So it's up to you how you respond, but you're able to control how you respond. And so how do you want to show up in moments, that feel uncertain or unsafe or fearful? And just know that you're able to control the way you react, and you can't control how others react. Reflecting on the benefits of actually letting go. So how might it feel in your life if you did let go of control? What would you gain from letting go and not controlling like a situation or a person or a task or anything like that? How would you feel? Like, would you feel more peace? Would you have better relationships? Would you have less stress? And it's like noticing what your life could be if you're not in the mode of doer or controller all the time. So just remember that you are able to control and know what feels good for you. Another way would be focusing on self-compassion. So often control is linked to self-criticism and having harsh self-expectations, like just trying to be perfect. And just learn to be kinder to yourself and embrace your imperfection or your flaws, or know that any mistakes, or if you think they're mistakes, they're learning experiences. So we all learn from something, and it's okay to not have everything under control, and just give yourself grace. And notice that if you're in a state of controlling and doer, then maybe, create some self-care practices to get yourself out of this on a regular, because if you start having self-care practices on a consistent basis, or even like meditation or journaling on a regular basis, then you'll start to feel less out of control, which is interesting. So it's like you don't have to have everything perfectly done or every detail in place, and just know that it's okay and give yourself grace. Seeking support could be another one. So for me, I would think that like if you really are struggling, then reach out to somebody, or a coach or a therapist or a counselor, someone who can help guide you through working on this controlling and anger and doer mentality. But I know you could do it on your own. So it's like you just being aware of it, and you don't have to know why, but just be aware that you are that way and that it is okay. It's just something we learned from our programming when we were children. So it's like an inner child coming out, needing that like either validation or support, or it has to go a certain way kind of feeling. So just remember that like you tactically can rewire your brain. You don't need someone else to do it, but if you really are struggling, then go ahead and reach out to a coach or someone who you trust, and that can help you through it. The power of surrender and flow. So it's like the idea that you're surrendering to life, and it isn't about giving up, but about trusting that things are happening as they should, when they should. So like it's this mind shift can create more peace and reduce anxiety that just drives control and the doer mentality. Sometimes when you trust the process and have faith, then things end up happening in a better or an unexpected way, because you're not trying to control or force an outcome. I know, because I'm like this. So I want my singing career to move faster. So a lot of times I'll want to control or force an outcome, and I need to sit back and be like, all right, what are the priority actions I need to take for the singing, but not controlling it in the process. So it's just sitting with myself, being able to trust the process. Things are going to happen when they're supposed to happen, and there's nothing I can do about that except for just work on my inner self, self-care, all that. And that's more important, that I'm growing and I'm enjoying the process, or the journey of the singing career, because you end up learning so much about yourself and others. And for me, it's like really impactful that I'm learning right now. Oh yeah, don't forget this one. Celebrate progress and celebrate your wins. So any win is a big win, in my opinion. So if you find yourself that you're able to notice that you're in control and trying to control a situation, if you're even aware of it, that's a huge thing. So just celebrate it. That's progress. And the more you notice it, and so you may not notice it the next time you're trying to control something, but if you keep working at it and you start noticing things, that I think that's going to be a huge thing, and it's a huge plus. So the more you work on your growth and just letting go of controlling, then it can create a more content and peaceful life. So just don't forget to celebrate those wins, because those are still big ones. Just being aware of that you're wanting to control something, and then what things you can do to not react negatively in a situation or in a controlling manner. So I know I went through a lot in this video, but I want to thank you so much for watching and just being here, because I'm so thankful for all of you. And if any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And let's support each other on our journeys. And I would love to hear more from you. How can we, trust ourselves more, or others more, and how we can empower ourselves to take back our lives, so we're not trying to control everything and just let things happen for a reason or for us. in the positive way, because a lot of things will happen and there's nothing we can do about it. And sometimes it just creates so much more content and peaceful in our life. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts below. So, but yeah, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and let's support each other as we learn, to let go, trust ourselves and others, and just help on our healing journey of being amazing humans. Thank you so much for watching.